Hi, good evening, everyone, and how are you doing? So today I'm going to be looking at Seplat and Aradel numbers. The two firms are in the upstream part of the oil and gas space, so they deal mostly in drilling and export of oil. Even though Aradel tends to do a bit of other things, so Aradel has a refinery. Seplat has the ANOP project as well. So, but largely they are upstream players in the oil and gas space. And I tried to do some numbers, put some numbers together, and forecast where I think these stocks should be trading. Now, I must warn though that there are a couple of limiting factors. For Seplat is a highly liquid stock. Um, Barely 10,000 shares trade on a good day. Very, very rarely you see 10, 20,000 shares. So it is not liquid. Seplat, on the flip side, though, is more liquid in the London stock market. So you won't be surprised to find a lot of investors who have access to that market buying over there um, compared to buying here. It's not liquid on the Nigerian end of things. The stock is trading at what? Over 5,000 naira a share. It's the only stock, to the best of my knowledge, as in that price range. So, um, largely held by institutional players. So it's very difficult to get a sizable amount of Seplat. And even if you are a retail investor who's what buying maybe 1,000 units, it's going to be a struggle because 1,000 units is over 5.4 million. It might take you a couple of days to fill out that unit. I think after I've gone through the video, then I would then pop into the NGX website so you see an idea what I mean by the stock is not liquid. Now, I have a target price for Seplat of about 14,700 naira a share. Now, if you're using dividend discount method, it gives me a valuation of somewhere around 7,300. If you're using discounted cash flow method, gives me a valuation of about 22,000 naira a share. So when we see this DCF means discounted cash flow um, method of valuing a stock. In simple terms, what it means is that you're trying using cash flow analysis, right? Future cash flow. You're trying to put a value to those future cash flows. And so that's what it means. You are estimating the value of an investment by discounting its projected future cash flow. So, in simple terms, what that means is that what are the cash flow that Seplat has? How do I value those cash flows in the future? And then you then get a meaning to that. Now, you can also use the dividend discount model, DDM, and which I think it's also applicable to Seplat. I mean, the ideal way is you could try and take what are the total value of Seplat reserves and divide, but I felt that was too complex for the everyday person. And you can also see I don't have the discounted cash flow workings and DDM workings here. It just would have been too complex. I mean, it's not very screen um, friendly. While if you're going to do DDM simply means that I'm projecting future dividends and then comparing that to present value. I mean, but that is on the assumption that future dividends are predictable, which I would say for Seplat, you can argue that yes, I mean, they've given you a dividend guidance so far the last couple of quarters or years, in fact, they've kept up that guidance. So what the DDM simply states is that the stock's total return is equal to the sum of its income. That's the simplest way of describing dividend discount model. So going by that model, you can see the views I have on Seplat. However, like I said, the stock is highly liquid, so chances of this stock getting here anytime soon in 1 year are very slim. I was discussing with a colleague of mine about the stock, and the challenge you have is for the global markets, it's cheap. I'll go online to show you Seplat is cheap in pounds terms. So chances of a bonus or share split, they're not going to happen. For the Nigerian market, is expensive. So that's the conundrum that we'll have. So I guess things will continue to drag this way. While for Aradel, now you can see clearly that going by all the valuations I have for Aradel, if you're using dividend discount model, put it at 568, you're using cash flows 448. So I have a buy. And why do I have a buy? If you look at the 5-year earnings growth rate, that's the KGA I have, it's 75%. So the question is, even if you model it down or even if you taper it down to say this stock grows its earnings at 30% a year, meaning every 3 to 4 years it's doing 100%, how much would you buy this stock? And if you're looking at, do I have that here? If you assume that it's going to have 31 naira in earnings, which it definitely is going to exceed this year because it's going to be a way bigger firm, when accounting for the revenue from Shell, the Shell transaction he did. Shell sold off an asset, Arade alongside a few other players bought it, and the vehicles, the Renaissance vehicles. So add that income to it. I think this stock could easily do 50 naira a share. So the question is, stock is trading at what? 515, EPS of say 40 or 50 naira. That EPS probably could double every 3 4 years. It's at 515 today. If that EPS doubles in say 3 years, that's an EPS of a 60 naira or so. So the question is, EPS of 60 naira, put a 10 times valuation or 12 times valuation. And I mean, bare case scenario, either ideally, but for the sell downs by large investors, Aradel should be in the 700 to 1,000 naira mark. So, I mean, sometimes when you're doing valuations, you have to look beyond just what historicals tell you. So you're modeling on cash flows. You have your base year cash flow, which you use. You're modeling on dividends. You have your base year dividend, which you use, but those numbers are going to be definitely bigger this year. So, I mean, in my view, that's where using a 20x multiple, Aradel definitely should be trading at 600 naira, bare minimum. I think my bulk case scenario target 1 year target price. I'm also, because this is a more liquid stock, is Aradel should probably be trading at 700 to 800 naira at a bare minimum. So that's my view. So in valuing, it's not just a case about the numbers. You also have to look at it, put all scenarios together. Yes, your numbers, the cash flow numbers, discounted model numbers tell you that, but by the time you look at the assets that it holds, you can definitely say that this stock should trade larger than that. So I was going to explain what liquidity means and why I say liquidity may be a stumbling block for Seplat. Now let's go to the NGX site. Is there anything new I need to know? Hold on. And just in case for people who don't go to the NGX site, I see a couple of results. Royal Exchange audited numbers are out. Q1 numbers are out. Nice. So back to Seplat. You can also see, and even if you look at it from the trading volumes, shout out to TRW stockbrokers. They do a great job of. I mean, if you look at the volumes for Seplat, Seplat barely traded. I mean, you can see it traded 10,000 and some fraction shares. So this is a market that serves thousands of people. So if you're, I mean, it's trading 10,000 shares. Imagine how long it's going to take you to buy 1 million shares. It's a struggle. Or buy 100,000 shares, it take you 10 plus days. And you can then see the last trading days, it's poor. The stock barely, I mean, for a stock of this size, trading less than 100,000 shares, it's really really poor. So anybody gets into it or thinking of getting into it, you have to take that factor into consideration. So, like I said, please note this is not financial advice. Do your own research. This is mine. It's not perfect. Some of these days, some other day, I probably take you through step by step breakdown of a dividend discount model and a discounted cash flow model. So maybe I'll do that with the next set of numbers, just to show you some workings around valuations. Pretty boring stuff, but I think it helps to show the nuts and bolts. Do like, share, subscribe. Shout out to the Senko community for all the support. Big, big, big fans of mine. Um, I was given a list of stocks which I'm following. So if from there, do know that I am following this list of stocks. Can I shrink it? So you can see, I got this list June 18. I've lost count of the number of companies. I think I have about 38. I was given a list of 38 companies, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I have about 19 to go. Yeah, so do have yourselves a great day ahead.